YouTubers, Electric Adventures here with my channel update for April 2013. I'll start with my other pickups. So these are the ones that I don't consider, truly retro, or don't fit in, didn't get a chance to make a video, or don't fit in that regard to what I normally do during the month. Now it was my birthday, and my family bought me a modern game. Now I haven't been using. Now we have a PS3 in the household, and we have two Xbox 360s. One has been, an Xbox Slim has been sitting in its box since I got it via redemption when I got a new laptop for work. So I thought I'd change over the old original Xbox, which is now sitting next to the TV over there in the game room, and put the Slim one in our master bedroom. We've got a TV mounted up on the wall, because if they bought me another game for the PS3, just like some of the others I've gotten recently, I wouldn't get time to play them, because too many kids, even though we've got two TVs and two lounge rooms, I never get a chance to play on the PS3 when I'm in the mood for it. You're not always ready to put the time into a modern game. So I have several PS3 games sitting there waiting to be played, and I was never getting time on it. So I said, if you do buy me any games for my birthday this time, how about you buy it for me on the Xbox 360? I'll set up the new one in there in the bedroom and have the other one out here, and I'll be able to play it. Now I know you can't transfer your games, so it still does limit me, but I hardly played that Xbox either, so at least if I move it out here I might use it a bit more. And the game they got me is one that I'm actually quite interested in, because I really like the Uncharted series on the PS3, is Tomb Raider. I'm sure lots of people have shown you that one, so there's no need to go into it in too much detail, but I've played the opening chapter, let's put it that way. So I've made a start. Now next pickup, not a game or anything like that, but I do like collecting books for the old computers, and this is a computer that I really haven't used very much. I have one. I have never fired it up, other than I know it powers on. I wouldn't have a clue whether it makes a picture because I don't have the monitor cord for it. I did order one stage, but I got the wrong one, so I haven't gotten around to getting the wrong one. It's an Amstrad, and these books are all for Amstrad. So we have games and graphics programming on the Amstrad computers, so it covers all models. That's actually quite interesting, and I haven't actually read these yet either. They've been sitting here. We have the Amstrad Users Omnibus, which is quite a thick book indeed. Lots and lots of stuff in that one. And I didn't have any other books on the Amstrad. We have Amstrad Computing. And I didn't pay for this one. The person just chucked it in, but I don't think anybody bid it on it. And by the way, I only bid like $1 or $2 for these. And it was filing systems and databases for the Amstrad CPC 464. So a nice set of books for the Amstrad, which I didn't have. And also I went to our local tip, and they have a tip shop, and I always have a look, and I've never actually ever found anything there, except this time. This was sitting on the shelf. Now I actually do have the Free Space Collector's Edition, which has this in the expansion packs, but this is the original game, and I thought, they're not going to have the CD again. But for once they'd actually put the CD behind the counter instead of in the game box. By the way, it folds out really nicely. And I have the CD. So there's the CD in a sealed case and the flight manual, so it's actually complete. So I'm not sure when I'll get around to it, but I never finished playing the game originally, because I started playing it and then misplaced my disc or my key or something like that. So and now that I've got the retro PC working, I know I had that working last month, but I just did not, because we went away and everything like that. I didn't have a chance to do any gameplay. So maybe, as well as the X-Wing game I've been promising, we can have a go at Free Space. Now, my cousin is still going. I've gotten him thoroughly addicted to a few things retro. He's now subscribed to the Game Chasers, by the way, and absolutely loves them. He was at one of the other tip shops, we've got several around the place, and he found me this. Sorry. Now I will do I haven't had a chance to try it or test it, so it's a Casablanca Avia macro system, which is basically a video editing and titling system. It has a I think it's an SD card interface there. It's got a hard drive in it, a 20 gig hard drive. Here's the back, which sort of shows you a little bit more about it. If the writing will come into focus. It's got lots and lots of inputs there. I'll read them out rather than wait for the focus thing to happen. So we have a monitor RGB, a video in out, an RGB below for SCART as well, S-video in, video composite in, and audio left and right in. It's also got a couple of USBs, one for a keyboard, the other is a general one, a trackball, now in other words, and a VGA option output. It doesn't look all that dusty. It's labelled as coming from the University of Tasmania. So at some stage, when I get caught up on, because I am running a little behind on my videos at the moment, I am going to do a video specific on that, and we'll see if we can get it working and do a teardown and see how it works. And last little pickup, I finally bought a tablet, and I got myself a, oops, sorry, it's in the case here, it's a Nexus 7. Let's come on there. So, I mean, we have lots of tablets in the family. We actually have 3 iPads, all used by the children and as well as my wife. We'll have another tablet in the family because it's my youngest birthday and she needs a little bit of help with her reading. So I'll probably actually buy another Nexus 7 because they're on special at the moment and not very expensive at all. Alright, moving on, I thought I'd answer a tag and also in the same way do a shout out to a channel. Mike Ryder, who made the comment that he wasn't sure whether he could do a tag because he didn't think he'd get around to enough people. Well, he's asked a very interesting question, and by its very nature, this is an excellent shout out to him and his excellent channel as well. So he asks, what platforms did you envy back in the day? Well, going back in the day, I'll do consoles first, because obviously they were around first. I mean, my best friend had an Atari 2600 and I had nothing at that size except like a Hanomix Pong machine. So I used to ride round to his place quite a few kilometres to go and play Atari games with him. Our rich next door neighbours, kids who had everything, had an Intellivision, they had every single Lego thing you could imagine. And I got to play the Intellivision because I used to babysit them. That's where I get my love of Intellivision and Atari 2600. And of course both of those systems were for sale in the shop that I ended up working in as well. And I did end up with a ColecoVision, but it was actually well after the first run. And I didn't actually have it for very long because when I got my Spectra Video computer, I then sold the Coleco and got a Coleco adapter for the Spectra Video rather than have more than one thing because I really didn't have a lot of money back in the time. And then we go on to the actual computers. Now I really loved my original Spectra Video, which replaced my TI-99 4A, and I sort of repeated myself. TI-99 4A, there was not a tremendous amount of software you could get for those machines over here. And also my machine was supposed to come with the advanced basic cartridge and never did, so I was always a little disappointed and restricted with that machine. I programmed, there were a couple of cartridge games around, and I had TI Invaders. Never actually owned a copy of Parsec, which is the other shooting type game, although I played it in the shop when I was looking at the system, and I bought mine second hand. But then went on to the Spectra Video, similar graphics and everything like that, which were higher resolution than the other systems of the time, and had a great basic programming language, which is what I chose it for. But Spectra Video really never got around to releasing a lot of titles for it. And this is probably due to the fact that they were trying to get their computer made as a standard in Japan, and there were delays and things going on, so they never got around to the software side of things because they thought it was going to come with this Japanese arrangement. And then by the time that came along, the specifications changed, and what MSX was slightly different, so they had a new range of machines. So during that time, I had virtually no software at all. Now, some of the cartridge games that I got recently, once I got them and had a look at them, I do realise I had seen them before in the shop that I was working, but I've never owned one myself. So my envy here is of people who had other systems who actually had far better software support. So I used to get all the magazines of all of this, so that's where my love of the Spectrum comes from because you just got so many magazines full of all of these great games. And I remember one point of excitement when the MSX came out was the fact that games like Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy were going to be brought out for that. And they were, and they're quite good versions. But that's, probably the number one area where I have a lot of envy for those sort of systems back then, and it probably underlying drives a lot of my collection now. So, getting the retro computer systems that I read about in magazines or other people were using, I really enjoy getting those machines and playing with them, and going through the experience of what it was like, having those machines, and that drives my collecting a lot. And it's a little bit of a different drive to the consoles. The console is more about pure gameplay and the fact that I love arcade type games, which then goes into my love of shoot 'em ups and things like that. Although I do like other types of games and platforms and do play them occasionally, it's shoot 'em ups that I always go back to. Alright, now next I'm going to PAX Melbourne, which is the very first PAX here in Australia. I'm going for all 3 days. So anybody who's also going to PAX Melbourne, let me know by message or comment below, so we can arrange a meetup. Now it's still a little while away, it's not till July, so I've got plenty of time to arrange it. I've also I'm going to have a panel at PAX, so it'll only be a short presentation sort of panel, and it's on the Rise of Homebrew, about how there are more and more developers out there developing homebrew games for retro systems, and some of them can actually be, are actually becoming commercial based. If you look at things like Pier Solar and things like that. If there are any other retro developers around in Australia who are also attending PAX, you are quite welcome to join me on the panel as well, and we can turn it just from a presentation talk by me into a more general discussion with more people. I'm completely flexible and open to that, so just contact me, either comments or via PM, and it'll be great. I'm really looking forward to PAX. Watch lots and lots of videos about various shows, the PAX shows in the US and the retro fairs in the UK, and just going and meeting like-minded people and playing some great arcade games I haven't seen in a long time. And there's going to be a few retro systems at PAX as well. There's quite a few machines are being brought along by one fellow. He does have a very small YouTube channel, Retro Gamer Oz. He's got a good website, and but he's on Twitter the most, so he's not a big YouTuber. I'll put links and stuff like that down there if you want to go and have a look at his stuff. But he's got a lot of gear, and he's bringing it along to PAX, so it'll be interesting to see what some of that's like and what some of the other things bring along as well. Now another little update on my retro re-releases. I'm pretty happy that my first title, EA Classics, which are my 3 earliest machine code games, are working pretty well now. I've sent it off to my 2 beta testers again. The last game, Munch Mania, between us we've all decided that the ghosts are just a bit too dumb, so I'm going to rewrite the maze logic so the ghosts are a little bit more aggressive. Other than that, everything's all working. There's no general bugs or anything like that out of it, and I'm pretty happy with it. And shortly it'll be integrated with the CollectorVision logo starting up CollectorVision guy is a bit busy at the moment and will be supplying that to me shortly. And so I don't at this stage know when the Coleco version will be available for people to buy, because we haven't, worked out the timelines and everything like that. But in the meantime, I'll be working on the Sega SC3000 SG1000 version and the re-released MSX version as well. I should have some cartridge cases for the MSX arriving soonish. They supposedly have been shipped from the Netherlands quite a while ago, although once again haven't received confirmation of that yet, but hopefully soon. And I've pretty much worked out the Sega cases, or cases for those games. I can get some modern Coleco cartridge cases and modify them slightly, so that should suit for those. And just for my own interest sakes, I'll be making some original Spectre Video versions of the cartridges as well. There may be one or two people out there who might want to buy those. Now, coming up. So I have, did mention I was behind on videos. I do have two brand new retro systems, or one not so new, but it's another variant, that I have picked up in the last couple of weeks that I have not been able to do videos for. It takes a long time. It's not just the unpacking of the retro system. I try and do a bit of information and demonstration of the machine. And both of them have minor technical problems. The one that I got first, I probably will be releasing the video soon and asking other guys for help on what I can try and get the system works in principle, but there's one part of it that's not. But I'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks. I have bought some more games from Japan for the MSX, and they'll be here soon. And I'll be trying to get onto those PC gameplays, so these will be the first two cabs off the rank. So, yeah, and I've confirmed I can get this one to work fine on the machine. I haven't tried the free space yet. So it's been a very busy month. Lots of other good quality videos being brought out by other people. So thank you for listening to my rambling. Thank you all to my subscribers, and I'll catch you all later.